Welcome back to the GSMC College Football Podcast. We're going to finish our show by talking about some of the new rule changes that the NCAA announced today, came out earlier today. The big one here is going to be penalties for faking injuries. So the way it's written out, if medical personnel enter the field to assess a player after the ball has been spotted for the next play, so if the ball's already been spotted, team's lining up, and medical staff has to come on the field, that player's team will be charged a timeout. Additionally, if the team has no timeouts remaining, a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be enforced. And I really like this rule. I like both of these rules. I think it makes a lot of sense. Faking injuries is something that we've seen really ramp up in the past 2 or 3 years, especially in the SEC. I've seen it so much. Pretty much every team has done it. Ole Miss has really kind of been controversial for using this, and then Lane Kiffin has complained about other teams doing kind of the same thing. So, but this is an issue, I think, across college football right now. And there's way too many stoppages in general. But the fact that guys are laying down to try to stop the clock, to give their teammates a breather, essentially, I don't think that's good for the game. I don't think anyone really wants to see it, and it's really frustrating to see from a fan's point of view as well. So I think I like the one, though, where it says after the ball's been spotted, and if medical personnel comes out, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think especially with some of these fast-paced teams, these fast-paced offenses, you see guys that they're snapping the ball every 15, 20 seconds. So if there's a guy, they get up, the ball's already down, and they're ready to go, and then the play gets stopped. You know, it's killing momentum. It's killing that offense's drive, essentially. And I think we're going to see more crackdown on kind of this injury faking. The issue is, how do you really kind of crack down on it? Because obviously there can be injuries where it doesn't really look like the guy's injured, but he really legitimately is. How are you going to kind of determine that? For the most part, you can kind of see when these guys are just like, hey, I hurt my hamstring or something, and they're really more taking a break. But there are injuries that are kind of a little harder to decipher there. Some of the other rules, though, I think they've changed. So overtime with timeouts, starting with the third overtime, if teams get to that, each team is only going to have one timeout for the remainder of the game. Before, it had been each team was allowed one timeout per overtime period. So pretty much every overtime period, you're having 2 timeouts at least, just because they're going to take their timeouts at some point. I kind of like that. I think if you're already at the third overtime, at that point, whoever wins the game. So I agree that I think they should only have one timeout for the remainder of the game. Also brings a little more gamesmanship, a little more strategy into that kind of overtime period that's a crapshoot at times. Another one that I thought was kind of interesting, so they're changing the terminology for replays. The terms confirmed and stands are being eliminated, so referees are not going to use them at all. They're now only going to use upheld or overturned, I guess to eliminate confusion. I don't know. That one, I don't love it. I guess if you don't understand what confirmed and stands means, it kind of makes sense. I kind of liked the confirmed and stands just because there is a difference between you're able to tell if the call is actually confirmed, and you're able to tell if it's just that was what was called on the field. That's my own personal opinion, but I don't know. That one can kind of... I see why the NCAA would change that, where it might be to eliminate kind of redundancy, but I don't love that one. Some other minor ones they did. So kickoff returns, if you put out a tee, if you make your arms and put them out like you're doing your wingspan, that is now going to be a fair catch signal. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then they're also bringing the coach to player system that they had implemented in the FBS this season. That's going to be implemented in the FCS now as well. So just some of the kind of rule changes. I think the big one obviously is going to be those penalties for fake injuries. We're going to see how that kind of works out. I don't know. I think it's a give and take. I do kind of like, though, that when the ball is already spotted, that player's team is going to be charged a timeout. Makes a lot of sense for me. And I like the fact that, they're going to start throwing penalty flags for delay of game, because it is a delay of game. If you're faking an injury, you are delaying the game. You're delaying the clock from going. You're stopping the clock. That's as clear of a delay of game as I could see. And that's something that, other sports kind of have that rule where both sides can delay the game. You don't really see it in football, but I think it's something that makes a lot of sense. So with that, we are going to end our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC College Football Podcast, presented to you by the GSMC Network. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the show, follow, and if you want even more sports content, more sports updates, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for even more content, more updates that you love. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to